What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Sistas. This is season 9, episode 21. Let's go ahead and get right into it, because this was a better episode, y'all. This episode was so much better than the last one. Let's get right into it. So, y'all, of all the people to come back, Penelope pops up. Baby, she pop up at this point as much as the men. Because y'all know, the men on this show love to do a pop-up on the ladies. Penelope pops up at the most random times in the most random places. And here she is, continuing to talk trash to Andy, okay? Like, it's crazy to me that Penelope has all this smoke for Andy. And I'm just like, girl, let it go at this point. Because you're now fighting over a man who basically killed your baby. Like, what are we talking about? You're still going at her over Gary shit? How about this? I would have respected it more if you been like, yeah, and my brother's in jail over all of this bullshit, which I'm trying to figure out. Is Jordan, like, still in jail? Or did, like, Gary give a statement and Andy give a statement to say that, like, he did not commit that crime? It was actually Hudson and Gary's ex-wife. No? We just gonna leave it at Jordan's in jail? Cool. Whatever. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, y'all know who needs to be worried about Jordan? His fucking besties. Like, it's crazy to me that we all know that Jordan went to jail, or at least that's what I can recall. Maybe I'm tripping. Jordan went to jail for whoever's crimes of attempting to kill Gary, right? We ain't never heard Tony or Rich ever mention that man. They ain't never been like, damn, I guess fucked up what happened to Jordan. We need to, scrap some money up to put some money on his books. Nothing like that. But they want to sit here and play in them ladies' face. You know what? I'm gonna leave that alone. Back to the story at hand, okay? When I tell y'all Sabrina is the worst person to be in this goddamn bathroom with Andy right now, because Penelope and Andy, they are going back and forth, throwing insults at each other. But low-key, y'all know, Penelope be eating Andy up half of the time. And Sabrina, y'all, that acting drunk shit that she does, it pisses me off every time. Because I'm like, girl, I don't know anybody who responds the way you do when you pretend to act like you're drunk. I don't know what that is, but she needs to fix that ASAP. Nonetheless, in my mind, I'm thinking, Sabrina, shouldn't you have fucking smoke for Penelope? She fucked your man. Like, you shouldn't be so chill in this moment. Both of y'all, you and Andy, should be, like, chewing her out. I'm not understanding, Sabrina. Like, and then for Penelope to consistently call them out their name, calling them sluts and all this stuff. And I'm like, Sabrina, that's your perfect moment. When she called y'all both some sluts, you should have been like, yeah, but you fucked on my nigga. Like, your brother's best friend. Who's the slut? You knew he had a girl. What we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, and then here comes the monkey wrench. The monkey wrench for me in that conversation with Penelope and Andy going back and forth is this girl saying how she's with Robin. And how, her and Robin have kind of decided to never mention it to Andy that they're together and whatever she was talking about. I'm like, girl, you and these sloppy seconds that you want from Andy is crazy. And low-key, I feel like you would mess around with your brother if it was possible. Because that's the vibe that I'm getting from you, Penelope. It's very much giving cruel intentions, okay? So, here's my thing. Penelope, you're dating Robin. And for us to have that as a plot twist, I'm hoping that that's a lie. Because I honestly can't see why Robin would want to be with Penelope. Especially considering he already knows kind of like the ins and outs of of her being Jordan's sister. Jordan messed around with Andy. Like, y'all know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see Robin going for the type of person like Penelope. Hell, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't see him really going for Andy. But Andy has, like, the lawyer background. She's smart. She has a lot going for herself. I can see that. Penelope ain't even got no damn job. Like, I just can't see him going for a Penelope. Now, Andy calls Penelope, I was like, yeah, girl, you keep going for my sloppy seconds. And my question was, girl, how often you see Robin? Like, how is that your man? Because the motherfucker don't show up to the office. So, how are you really kicking it with him? Girl, bye. Goodbye, Penelope. I'm hoping this is the last time that we see Penelope. We can definitely put that storyline to rest. Y'all, next season, I don't want to see Penelope. I don't want to see Jordan. I don't want to see Rich. I don't want to see Tony. That whole gang of people can absolutely go. Okay? But moving on. Danny happens to come in the bathroom or whatever, and now she all in the mix. So she happens to peep game at what's going on, and she like, hold up, baby. You cannot talk to my girls like that. I can talk to them crazy, but you, hoe? No. I'm not about to play with you. You're not about to come at my girls like this, right? So, freaking Danny, she tells the, like, restroom attendant to go ahead and leave on out. And she does. And next thing you know, the ladies get to scrapping, right? And here's my thing. I'm all in support for this because Danny had, what's her name? Penelope's friend. And then Andy was, doing her thing with Penelope. Here's the thing. Andy's not a fighter, okay? She was losing in multiple moments, okay? She was losing in multiple moments. But I'm like, okay, keep scrapping, Andy. You got to get some licks in. You know what I mean? Danny was handling hers on the other side. Y'all, you know what Sabrina was doing? Absolutely nothing. You know what it reminded me of? Y'all remember that episode of Girlfriends when they went to the club and they got into like a tussle with some other ladies? And Maya and Tony, they were not getting along, but they had each other's back in that fight. And Joan was just standing there and she wasn't doing anything. Hell, even Lynn got in on the fight. That is what this whole scene reminded me of. However, Penelope, I think she accidentally, no, I shouldn't say accidentally, but she hit Sabrina, right? And that's when Sabrina kind of got involved, right? So she got a lick in. I ain't gonna hold her. She did get her lick in. And I'm like, yo, you could have gave up a couple more, okay? So moving on from that, we go to see like where the rest of the crew is. They're all hanging out, drinking or whatever. Some guy, he sent over drinks and called them cougars. And all you hear is Karen being like, we cougars now? I said, girl, you're a whole mom. Relax, okay? Relax. So next thing you know, you hear like security, they're running to the bathroom. And I'm just like, at what point are y'all gonna realize that it's y'all friends that's in there fighting? Y'all didn't realize that 3 of them was missing? Nonetheless, everybody's outside at this point because they're waiting to see where are the other girls. Where's Andy, Sabrina, and Danny? Baby, Sabrina done magically sobered up now. And they come out and, y'all, Andy is on a fucking adrenaline high, okay? Like, this girl can't put her dukes down. She refuses to put the fist down. And I cannot lie, I was laughing this whole little bit just watching Andy, okay? And what's crazy is that the way she's holding her hands and moving around, I said, baby, I know you only gave a few taps. You gave some baby taps. I don't think that your hits really hurt, but as long as you was trying, as long as you were swinging, Andy, okay? And then when she got to describing that fight, y'all, I fucking hollered because I've never heard a person describe a fight like this, okay? She said, I braced myself, snatched her back, smacked her ass, grrr, whomp. Girl, what? Y'all, I don't know who wrote that shit, but I was laughing. I have never heard a fight described like that. She growled. Y'all, she growled. And then said, whomp. Oh my God. I was not expecting that out of Andy Barnes, but I chuckled, okay? Anywho, Karen is completely shocked Not even the fact that Andy got into a fight. No. The fact that Sabrina was involved. Okay? And I'm just like, Sabrina, you owed her that. That lady slept with Rich. Even though y'all was going through y'all shit, like, she definitely had to have known that she was with that man. Especially once we learned they were confiding in each other. Come on now. So, y'all, let me just throw this scene in here, which pissed me off. We gotta stop jumping back to Zach, Mr. Keys, and Rich. Like, I do not want to hear them air out their grievances about accountability. Like, no thank you. Like, honestly, in that moment, I did not want to hear anything about accountability when it came to Zach or Rich, because both of them have done women wrong. Both of them. Rich, for sure. Zach, absolutely. And who knows what the hell Mr. Keys has done throughout his life. We could have gone ahead and put a bow on it, wrap it up. We're done with the men. Okay? I don't know. I'm just not feeling this whole Rich and Zach friendship. And I feel like that may be my issue when it comes to this show. But honestly, I can go on a whole speech about that. But we're not going to do that today. So, back to the story at hand, okay? So, moving on from there, back to the ladies. We finally get a conversation between Andy and Danny, okay? We get to see them be grown women. We get to see them actually take accountability on both parts. You know, Danny, she says that she says things harshly, and, you know, sometimes she says things that the ladies don't want to hear, but it's never coming from like this malicious place. And then Andy, you know, I was actually surprised at how much accountability that Andy took, because y'all know how she can be. But she does say that there are some things that she needs to work on for herself. And I'm like, okay, good. I love this moment right now, because I feel like the one thing about Sistas is that a lot of times when we do have those big moments where the ladies, they are not caring for each other, like they not really feeling each other like that, it kind of gets brushed off. And like the way they come back together is never with like real apologies to be like, you know what, damn, as a friend, I fucked up. Like, we fucked up. You know what I mean? So to see this scene, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was great to include it. And I'm glad that the ladies are finally going to be back on, you know, the same page as far as their friendship goes. Because let's be honest, both of them needed understanding on both sides, even though Andy, you know you be moving shady. And Danny was absolutely in the right for calling you out. Okay? So, moving on from there, Sabrina has to ruin the moment. She ends up telling Danny that she's sleeping with Rock still. Girl, this was not the time or the place to tell her that bullshit. Danny feels like, listen, girl, I tried to warn your ass, but if that's who you want to mess around with, that is not my problem. I said, I completely understand. Danny, you tried to warn this girl, but Sabrina is fucking dickmatized, okay? So, the girls, they're like, all right, cool, this was fun. Where we going next? Okay, like, the night's still young. We're having a good time. Like, everybody's getting along. Fucking Karen is like, y'all don't want to go home? Girl, no. We are out to have a good time tonight. So, Sabrina, she ends up calling Maurice. Is like, oh, what's the addy for the next place? And he like, okay, y'all, send it to you. Cool. So, then we have Pam. She trying to get tea on Danny. She's like, yeah, I heard you was on the phone with somebody. Like, who was that? And of course, the ladies are going to assume that it's Tony. Keep in mind, y'all, at this point, Danny has not told anybody that her and Tony have broken up. She has only told them that she has lost her job. Keep in mind, I think at this point, she's only told Pam. I don't think that the other ladies know anything that's happening with Danny in this moment. Okay? So, she keep it to the chest. She ain't telling them nothing. So, Fatima, she ends up inviting everybody to this cookout that she's throwing. And she says that it's going to happen tomorrow. Sabrina, she ended up giving Andy this edible, right? And I mean, Andy's just eating it. Not paying attention, just chomping down on this damn brownie. And here's the thing. First of all, Sabrina has had it in her bag for a while. And I'm like, so you just carrying it around? Okay, Sabrina, all right. But next thing you know, they start passing it around. The only people who don't have it, of course, are, what's her name? Fatima and Karen. Because, of course, one just had a baby and the other one is having a baby. We don't do drugs like that when we have babies involved, okay? So, all right, cool. The ladies went and got something to eat, finally made it to the club, and y'all, they are at this gay bar, okay? And Sabrina, she invited Rock to the gay bar. Y'all know what I need TV shows to stop doing? Stop putting straight people in gay spaces. And here's what I mean by this. I've watched a few shows where we have straight people just hanging out at the gay places. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Because in like the real world, especially like straight men, they're not just going to the gay club. Even if their girl is there, they may come pick their girl up from the club, but I don't think they going in there dancing and having a good time. Like, that's weird. And I need TV shows to stop doing that. Now, here's the thing. Danny, Andy, and Sabrina, they are out here acting a damn fool. They high as hell. They don't know how to handle weed. It's a lot going on, right? Karen, she, of course, reaches out to Aaron, checking on him and the baby. And he say everything's good over there. He got everything under control. Now, keep in mind, she made this conversation in the bathroom, which is a men's restroom. Keep in mind of that. Why did some man walk up and was basically ear hustling because he had used the bathroom? It was like washing his hands. And he started talking to her about like, oh yeah, because me and my partner, we're about to have a baby, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, okay, cool. But what threw me off was Karen giving this man advice, talking about, as a new parent, blah, blah, blah. Karen, I love you, girl, but you are barely a parent yourself. Like, am I the only one who felt that way? When Karen's like, yeah, you're going to figure it out. Karen, whoa, too much dip on your chip, baby. You just started liking your baby. Like, that sounds so horrible. Oh my God. But I just thought that was so wild that she's the one who's giving advice. I'm like, okay, Karen, they really pushing it. The writers are pushing it when it comes to your character right now. So, y'all, here comes another straight man. Here comes Officer Green. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Baby, that's who Danny was on the phone with. She invited him out to the club. Y'all, again, Danny, she's doing a whole lot. But he into it. And the whole time I'm wondering, where is Andy? Andy don't see that Danny is hugged up with this nigga? Because let's not forget, he's trying to talk to Andy as well as Danny. Let's absolutely not forget about that. And I'm like, every time we've seen Danny with this man, where was Andy? I don't understand what's happening. So, next thing you know, we see Sabrina. She goes to the bathroom, and she feel like she about to throw up. However, she happens to see that there was like, the restroom was like open, like the door was open to one of the stalls. So, her nosy ass peeks over, and then next thing you know, two women walk out, and here goes Rock. Yeah, the community dick that she's been bouncing around on. Y'all, in that moment, I can't lie. I thought that maybe the ladies were trans. And I said, ooh, plot twist. I mean, it would have been different if he came out with a guy. That definitely would have been different. But I kind of feel like, I mean, hey, he got out of jail, so, But I thought it was going to be like trans girls, but it was like, no, they're lesbians. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. But here's what's crazy. This man played into Sabrina's face. Basically got to the club. Keep in mind, she invited him. Found two random women. And was about to smash them in the bathroom. I'm like, yo, Sabrina, Danny tried to warn you about this man ahead of time. You should have listened. But what's crazier is that he literally was telling Sabrina, like, yeah, I'm trying to see, like, if you down with what we got going on. Excuse me? You think square ass Sabrina would be down with what you got going on? Please. I don't see it. That probably would have blew me completely, y'all. Could you imagine if we would have seen Sabrina's character hooking up with the lesbian couple and Rock? I would have never saw that coming. But y'all know Sabrina was not down for any of that. And what's crazy is that she told him to go get tested. And he gonna tell her, well, if I got something, you got something. We twinning. Sir, you've got to be stopped. That had me laugh when he said we're twinning. I'm like, whoa, that's wild. So what's crazy is that Maurice was in the bathroom, so he heard everything that was going on. And I'm just like, this whole episode has so much going on in comparison to the last one. But nonetheless, Fatima, she ends up calling Zach or whatever. He pick up. She tell him, like, yeah, don't forget about the cookout. So he ends up leaving the guys. So I think Rich left as well. Okay, but here's the thing. Mr. Keys is still at he's still at the bar. Y'all, why did Andy Mama walk in? And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. And it didn't seem like they knew each other, but they were flirting. I'm like, yo, this lady just had a whole little health scare, kicked Andy out, and then said that Andy's aunt was supposed to be with her. Lady, are you living a double life? Are you actually kicking it with your sister? What's going on here? What is going on with Andy Mama? We got to find this out ASAP. Okay? So, we see all the ladies, they're dancing around, having a good time. Andy is having a moment over there. Like, she is so happy. She feels free from all these men that she's been dealing with in the past. And then we see Fatima and Karen. They're bonding. And it definitely was like this whole rite of passage thing. It was very much like, all right, I'm handing the ropes over to you. Because Karen, she did kind of tell her, like, oh, I want you to look after the girls. Because they went through, like, each girl and, like, their personality traits. And, like I said, Karen asked Fatima to watch over the girls. And she said, of course, that's what I can do for you. Moving on from there, we see Danny. Danny and Officer Green, baby, they are going at it in that bathroom. Baby, let me tell you something. That bathroom had more action going on up in that motherfucker than any other place that we've seen filmed on this show. The bathrooms had so much going on. In the first place, we had, the milk everywhere. We had a fight happening there. We've had, in this other bathroom at the gay club, we've had a hookup with Rock and the lesbians. You have, Karen, she's giving parenting advice. We about to have a hookup with Danny and this police officer. Baby, it's too much happening in the bathroom. The most disgusting place in the damn building. Nonetheless, we get back to the dance floor. Andy is rounding everybody up so they can go up there and sing, "We Are Family." And the girls get up there. They're all singing, having a grand old time. And I'm just like, okay, great. This is like a really good send-off for, honestly, if this was the end of the series, this would have been a pretty good send-off because we knew that, Karen's going to be moving on to do other things. All the ladies seem to be freeing themselves of these toxic men. Like, that last scene of them singing was really good. However, we know that the shenanigans are going to shenag on the next episode because I think that's going to be the season finale. Y'all, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Did y'all like it? Did y'all like it way more than the last one? Let me know in the comment section. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.